Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Thursday morning. You join me with a cup of tea and the chance to talk about a lot to talk about in the world of Newcastle United. We have now signed, done deal, the 20-year-old under-21s Danish striker Osula has officially joined the club. Eddie Howe has given his comments on the player this morning, as well as some updates on Gehi. Well, not much of an update, but we'll talk about it anyway. Bruno Guimaraes has also done an interview saying that he said he would never want to leave Newcastle United and he wants to put his name in the club's history. So we'll talk about that. Kieran Trippier looks set to stay at the club as well. So plenty to get through. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and hit subscribe on this video. God, you can tell I'm still half asleep. Newcastle are back in action tomorrow in the first of two Cellar Cup games. So you're a day away from our final set of friendlies and just over a week away from the start of the season. So if you've been watching all summer and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do it. We're close to 50,000 now, which is amazing. So let's start off with our new signing. Newcastle bring in Osula. As I say, the 20-year-old striker from Sheffield United, a fee rumoured to be around 10 million plus 5. It looks ever more likely that Callum Wilson will be staying at the club, so he's like first choice striker, Callum Wilson second choice striker when he's fit, and then Osula as the third choice, but I think he is a little bit flexible. He can play on the right as well. I think he can play on the left too. So someone who we're bringing in as squad depth backup, but also maybe for the future as well. Osula, obviously having joined this morning, did a little interview where he said that he's very happy to be here. It's a big club, a great club, and I'm very happy for the opportunity at Newcastle United. It's a great opportunity, and as soon as I heard Newcastle were interested, I knew I had to take the chance and go there. He's really happy to be here, and we're happy to have him. So, as I say, the initial reaction to the Osula was a little bit flat. I think, as we know, this summer has been a little bit quiet on incomings, if you exclude the 7 goalkeepers were signed 2 months ago. But I think now things are starting to ramp up a little bit in the back end of this kind of transfer window. We still have work to do. As I mentioned, Eddie Howe did give an update on Gehi, and I may as well throw it in here because it isn't much of an update. He basically just said that he doesn't have one. He says that he's not able to give anything in terms of an update, which, Eddie Howe didn't deny it, he didn't push it, he just kind of said, I think at this point everybody knows what it is, everyone knows that it's happening. Gehi himself was actually spotted at the Crystal Palace training ground. I mean, what else is he going to do? Go into hiding while he waits to find out what happens? But yeah, hopefully Newcastle can just nail it down and get it done, because the season starts in a week, as I say, and it will be good to have him on the pitch. Also, Eddie Howe did make a comment on Osula as well, saying that he's actually known him since Jason Tyndall's time at Sheffield United and has tracked him for 3 years. He excites us, he's a raw talent and can be a great centre-forward, physical profile, and he still has areas to develop. So yes, great to hear about Osula, and someone else who potentially could still be and maybe even feature in the game at Southampton, despite having been linked heavily away this summer, is Kieran Trippier. A player that not so long ago jetted out to, was spotted in the airport, wasn't he? And everyone was like, he's off to Saudi. He wasn't. He was off to Dubai. He was just going. Oh God. He's off to Dubai just for a holiday, just for a bit of sun. No, he was in Dubai meeting up with lead scouts from one of the Saudi Arabian football clubs. So it's a bit naughty of Kieran, in my opinion, to be posting that kind of stuff, but he fair well knows that everyone's paying attention. Unless he thought he'd have a bit of a laugh, watch his mates, watch the Geordies react when I post this photo and tag this bloke in. Well, he got his wish. But anyway, he was spotted back in training alongside Anthony Gordon. I honestly thought, to be honest, that when those photos were seen of Trippier out in Dubai and whatever, that would probably be the end of Trippier? Well, it seems not. He has returned back to training alongside Gordon, which means everyone's back in now. For all intensive purposes, Trippier could well be very much involved this weekend for the Salah Cup and what appears to be this season. I mean, Eddie Howe did speak about Kieran Trippier in his interview this morning, saying that he doesn't think Kieran's openly looking to leave. He's been very good in training this week and has come back with an ambition to play and fight for his place like every player does in pre-season. I see a player who is fully committed. So Eddie Howe very much, he said he didn't say he's not going anywhere. He said he doesn't look like he's openly looking to leave, which I guess is kind of his caveat if he does suddenly go in 2 days' time. Oh, well, the opportunity came up, so we thought it was better for him to go. But Trippier's a funny one with me. I think at the time of having the Trippier leaving rumours, when we were having to sell players to bring players in, now that we've kind of let Minty go, let Anderson go, we're looking to bring players. Like the emphasis right now is definitely on bringing players in. If we let Trippier go, we're not bringing in another right back. Like we're not going to actually replace Trippier. It will just be Livramento with Kraft, I guess, as the second choice right back, which is fine because I think Livramento is really good. But it's not like it was a month ago where it was like, well, if we can get 15 million for Trippier, that means we can spend 15 million on somebody else. We're already linked to a 65 million Gahey. I think we probably will still go out and get a right winger. Like it's not like the club, and it's the same with Almiron. Maybe that's more worrying because I think the one with Almiron really is probably because we wouldn't let Almiron go until we sign the right winger. Maybe it's a similar situation with Trippier. Maybe we're holding on to Trippier until we sign Gahey or until we sign the right winger and say, all right, okay, Kieran, you could go now. But I'll be honest, I don't mind Trippier staying. He's part of the leadership group that we'll come on to in a moment. But when Trippier's in fine form, he's the best right back in the league. How many chances did he create last season for Isak and everybody else? And as much as Livramento's great, I think he still needs a little bit more time. Maybe that's harsh. I think Livramento would grow into it, but I don't mind Trippier staying. Eddie Howe said that he sees him as a big part of the team and going forward. Oh, but then he also mentions FFP, and there's still a possibility anybody could leave. So there you go. I should have read the full thing. But yes, so Eddie Howe's basically backing me up on that one as well, saying that there is always a possibility of somebody leaving, and he doesn't want to talk about individual players, but naturally incomings there will be outgoing. So I've pretty much just nailed it there for you, Eddie. You should have asked me. It looks like I think Trippier. Again, I would hold on to Trippier before losing him over an Almiron, and maybe that's harsh. It's likely that Almiron would probably go. But someone who looks like he's definitely staying, and who could well be for some time after the comments he's made saying that he never wanted to leave. That's right, Bruno Guimaraes has spoken in an interview this morning. Obviously, we saw Bruno return from the Copa America trip and actually captained Newcastle for the first time in the second game out in Japan. In fairness, we lost that game 2-0, and we were also wearing the new third kit, which the third kit wasn't exactly good luck for us last year, so I'm hoping that we can squash that quickly because it's such a nice kit. I'd hate for it to be the one we don't want to wear because we don't win. And also, when Bruno's playing, we normally win every game when Bruno's playing, but he spoke this morning saying that he is very happy. And this is quoted as well, it's saying, "I never said I would like to leave. I always said I would like to put my name in the club's history." So big up Bruno. We've heard that a few times now about him wanting to kind of have his name spoken in that way in the history books. You could possibly argue that Bruno will always be remembered regardless from this point on because he has been such a great figure in the Newcastle side and obviously part of the new era, new ownership of Newcastle United. But I think for me, what he's really saying is he wants to go and achieve something and win something. And if Bruno can, future captain material, can go and lift a trophy for Newcastle, then that for me would be putting his name into the history books of Newcastle. So I very much hope Bruno can go ahead and achieve that. As I mentioned about the captaincy and this leadership group, I mentioned it earlier on. which I think currently consists of Lascelles, who is the club captain, although isn't the playing captain more often than not. Dan Burn. So Lascelles, Dan Burn, who we've seen wear the armband as well. We've seen him wearing that now. Trippier, who we've seen wear it plenty of times. And Callum Wilson. I think we have seen Callum Wilson wear the armband. Bruno Guimaraes is now the additional member of that leadership group. I think as Matt Ritchie may well have been in it as well. Maybe even, I don't know if Dummett was. Ritchie was. But obviously they've left this season. It's made an opening for maybe a new member to join that leadership group. Dan Burn actually spoke about this in an interview while in Japan, I think, saying that the players would have a vote for who was next in. So it sounds like Bruno is the man who has been voted in. Bruno said that I've always been a leader, but it's a big challenge because English isn't my first language. The leader isn't just who wears the armband, but the person who fights for the club in many, many ways. For example, I just missed one game last season, as I've said already. We win when Bruno plays more often than not, so it's always good to have him available as much as possible. He said he's been a captain at his previous club as well as Brazil youths, and the gaffer has given me a big responsibility, and I want to deliver something for him and the fans. And he looked pretty serious when he said that as well, which is great. As I say, Bruno said they never. Oh, let me get this right. Saying that I'm very happy. I never said I would like to leave, so that's good news to us. Being a member or wanting to write his name in the history books of Newcastle and given that extra responsibility in the leadership group. I mentioned this a few times. We want to keep Bruno at the club as long as possible, and giving him things like the chance to wear the armband and being part of the bigger decisions around the training ground. I mean, if Bruno's someone who is possibly an opinionated person on this, that and the other and feeling like he's getting pushed to one side, maybe he wouldn't want to be here. Not that it sounds like he is anyway. You know, I think he's probably very much listened to by Eddie Howe and probably lets him get on with whatever he wants to. But dropping him in that leadership group just probably gives him that little bit more feel and kind of ownership of what's going on around him. And with that will hopefully make him feel happy and that he'll stay even longer. But as I say, from the comments he's made, it doesn't sound like he wants to go anywhere anyway. So let me know your thoughts down, loads today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the new signing Osula, on the chance of Kieran Trippier staying, on Bruno joining the new leadership group, and nothing to update on Gehi as it stands. But, and why not throw it in as well? The Stack opens today as well. The Stack outside of St James's Park, I think, opens today at midday. So if you work in town, you fancy a lunch break, at the Stack, go and check it out. But I imagine it'll be a lot busier tomorrow for the start of the Seller Cup, and then moving on at the season. But by all means, it looks huge, by the way. It looks massive. So looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't like and subscribe if you haven't already. As I mentioned, loads to get through today and loads of videos coming up pretty much every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.